Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Annie Miraj Kitba. You're watching Vertex, a solution of every need. Thank you so very much for stopping by to know more about me. Please check out vertexasolution.com. It's a quick video on communication gap requested by my students as well. And of course, before I begin speaking, it's a short and a quick video in brief. Before I begin speaking, I thank a lot to the supporters, subscribers, and viewers of this channel, and of course the mental health community as well, for supporting, understanding, and sharing my views and inputs further. I highly thank all of you, and it's a warm welcome over this channel as well. I appreciate criticism as well. Sometimes the criticism is out of context, so I'm sorry I cannot take it up, but if it is constructive for my channel, for me, and for the growth of people, certainly it's welcomed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak on to communication gap. So communication gap, why it happens. Now certainly for communication skill, language is the foundation, whether it is any sort of a language you speak into, your mother tongue, or any foreign language you choose to speak into. Ladies and gentlemen, communication gap happens because of the lack of proficiency. Now, when you are able to communicate well what your thought process is, what your message is, what information you would like to share in a precise and to the point manner, which can exactly be interpreted or understood the way you want it to be, I would say it is a good way to communicate your message. Sometimes the receivers are not able to interpret it exactly what the message is. Why? There is some sort of a gap in between. Can be a language gap, can be framing of sentences, can be vocabulary. Sometimes it happens that the sender's proficiency is much higher than the receiver's proficiency, and therefore the receivers are not able to understand exactly what the sender is saying. And sometimes sender's proficiency is not good enough to frame sentences properly, to frame or choose vocabularies properly for your sentences, ladies and gentlemen. That is why the receiver is not able to understand what you are actually trying to say. Sometimes broken sentences, broken vocabularies, or I would say or misrepresentation of the vocabulary as well. So it's important to build proficiency level. If your proficiency is good enough, fair enough, as well as your understanding the target audience is well enough, you are able to frame sentences properly, and of course you are able to choose your vocabulary wisely as well. Now, sometimes it happens your thoughts are here and there, and you are unable to recollect what actually you want to convey or what you want to say, and henceforth, because of it, there is a communication gap. Or sometimes you may are too busy or too occupied, and you have to send a text message or an email, or verbally you have to pass an order to your colleague or in your workplace, and you are unable to recollect your thoughts. So it's very important whenever you are emailing or texting, and specifically at your workplace, you need to recollect your thoughts and accordingly choose the right framing of the sentences and the vocabulary as well. Now, I do not mean here that the recollection of the thought does not mean that if your communication is assertive, or your communication is assertive for your team, henceforth your communication is not fair enough or good enough, right? It has to be clear. It has to be, it has to be to the point, what you desire as a leader if you're communicating in an email, in a message, or whatever it may be, or a dialogue, of course, or face-to-face communication. So it has to be to the point, precise, rather than, a made-up, or I would say sometimes people indirectly try to address an issue, which then again become a communication gap, being too, decorating your sentences so that people may not feel what exactly you wanted to communicate. Now, it does not mean that you have to be rude. Your communication can be polite and assertive both at the same time. So it depends on kind of a situation you are dealing onto. So there should be a right framing of your sentences, as well as the subject on which you're communicating accordingly to that. And of course, for instance, if you're writing a termination letter, so termination letter has to be assertive, of course. So this is just an example. Of course, I hope nobody should write a termination letter and nobody should receive the termination letter. That's not the objective of the video. But the objective is that how can we overcome communication gap, rather mugging up around the words and vocabulary and sentences, rather being to the point, crisp, precise, and of course polite at the same time as well. So for that, you need good proficiency in any of your language that you would like to communicate. Thank you so very much for watching this video till the end. I hope I'm able to describe and explain it well. For more information, you can drop in and check my website, or your comments are welcomed. Have a great day.